Hello everyone, my name's Logic. Hello everyone, my name's Logic, and welcome back to Made with Perfection. Hopefully this time I'll get the good ending, because I've just been through like the train clean and rest thing, the sequence. So now hopefully the place should be clean and I won't lose my maid. He was very impressed on how clean the mansion was. He almost ran his finger on every wood and marble surface, checking for dust, and found absolutely nothing. I looked at Carolyn, who smiled at me before nodding and watching the man finish his evaluation. As he finished, he gave Carolyn a thumbs up. Did she do her part well enough to pass? Carolyn started jumping happily. I assumed that she did her job right, and she almost started bouncing with her. She wouldn't get taken away for skimping duties. After his inspection, he stopped to look at Carolyn. I watched as he circled her, and she stood at attention, like a soldier to her sergeant. He shook his head, pressing his lips into a fine line.
Well, we'll see how the fight goes.
Yes, we will. I looked at Carolyn, who kept her eyes to her feet in shame. I bit my lip. Maybe I should have had her train more. As she left, Carolyn looked at me for her day assignments. Sheesh, even on her final day, she was determined to win against Red. We need to train. That's what we need to do. Carolyn nodded and started to run laps around the lobby using the stairs. Out of curiosity, I decided to stay around with Carolyn and watch a bit on how she trained. She had been training hard, and I was curious. She was a soldier, after all. Would she be doing laps? Would she be hitting the punching bag? Nope, she's doing the sit-ups on the floor again now. We've already seen this. Day 7, Friday afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Carolyn reappeared at my door with lunch. I ate it happily, of course, but I knew that I had to dictate what she had to do for the rest of the day. There's more of these things? Jeez. Rest. Definitely deserved a break. Tomorrow was the moment of truth. The next morning was full of a silence that sent chills down my spine. Today was the day Red and Carolyn would fight to see who was the better maid. I was confident in Carolyn. She had to win. She was so determined to win already, there was no way Red could match her. As Carolyn entered my room at breakfast, she presented me with a letter and a red wax seal. I opened it and read aloud the contents of the letter.
Today's battle will take place in the designated area determined by the Code of Maids. Please arrive promptly by noon, or face losing your maid and title as per your disqualification.
Oh no, I don't want to lose a designated area. I looked at Carolyn, who closed her eyes and took a deep breath. I had to assume she knew where this place was, so I didn't ask. I dressed and ate quickly, not wanting to make any of us late, and off we went. The guy who had brought me here drove us towards our destination that I didn't know of. I sat behind Carolyn as she stared ahead at the partition. I looked at her and wanted to speak, but I could tell that she was focused on thinking about the match. She must have been nervous, and her hands gripped the hem of her dress like vices. Please, It's okay. I didn't want to break her thoughts, but I gently placed my hand over hers and gave it a small squeeze. She didn't break her gaze with the partition, but she released her dress and held my hand and squeezed back. I smiled. She knew that I believed in her, and my hand squeeze was my silent route for her. I took her silent reply as acknowledgement of such. We drove for a good half an hour before reaching a building that looked like a small arena.
What the? An arena?
Like a literal arena? As we stepped inside, we were greeted by a perfect circle of people and maids, either cheering or booing at our arrival. I looked around and noted at least 30 nobles, with each having 1 or 2 maids apiece. I suddenly felt incredibly small. I turned my gaze to across the small arena, seeing Angela stare at me from an elegant chair, with Red beside her, with her usual evil smirk. I glared as Carolyn and I walked forwards towards the ring, designating the fighting area. Angela stood and followed, Red a step behind her. When we reached the ring, Red and Carolyn continued forward into the fighting area as Angela and I stopped.
Well, middle-class rat, I didn't expect you to show up on time. Usually, vermin scurry around and forget about important things like this.
Yeah, whatever. This vermin's about to kick your ass.
Not on your life. I may be from a working class, but I at least worked hard at what I did.
Oh yeah, you tell her.
Red, make this quick. This fight will be finished within a minute. Do you understand?
Oh god, I'm so nervous. I don't want to lose me maid.
Absolutely, ma'am.
I don't want to lose her. Oh god. Red cracked her neck and grinned evilly at Carolyn.
So I finally get to show you who the real best maid is. I've been so impatient. I almost snuck out of my master's home to fight you out of pure anxiousness.
Psycho bitch.
Whatever scare tactic you're using won't work, Red. I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah.
Oh, you should be. You really should be. After all, I don't intend to let you win. Your ass is mine.
She's gonna kill her? It's a bit brutal.
Come and try to get it.
Oh. Angela stepped back and crossed her arms, and I stepped away from the ring, focusing on Carolyn's back. She had to win. She had to win. The speakers surrounding the arena awoke with the sound of blips clicking through the air. One blip. Two blip. As at the third, Carolyn and Red charged at each other. Red unsheathed a knife and Carolyn ran at her unarmed. With a swipe, Red tried to slash at Carolyn, but her dagger didn't make its dodging target as Carolyn stepped back and started to move defensively. Carolyn kept circling and stepping away from Red, trying to maintain distance from the blade that could end her career and her life. I started and leaned in with anticipation. Carolyn had trained really hard for this. She had to beat Red somehow. As Carolyn began to come close to the arena ring line, she tried to twirl around Red, but she was blocked and dodged an incoming thrust of Red's knife.
Hold still!
Finally, Red closed the distance, trying to land her target perfectly. I tensed up. This couldn't be. With perfect grace, Carolyn was able to dodge Red's knife and disarm her as soon as they were close enough to almost collide. Oh my god. As Red stared in shock, Carolyn began to slam punches and kicks at her opponent. I watched in awe as Carolyn took a strong offensive. This was almost the complete opposite of how she fought a week ago. Instead of having a strong defensive, she was the one landing the blows at Red, who could only try to dodge or block with her hands. Red crouched down and swept a foot around to try and trip Carolyn, but Carolyn flipped back masterfully and slid back in towards Red to continue her barrage of hits. Every hit Red threw at her enemy, Carolyn was able to maneuver around to defend her against it, before attacking back and landing her hits perfectly.
Red! What are you doing?
Whoa. With a loud cry, Carolyn slammed her foot into Red's stomach and sent her flying out of the ring, causing the speakers to blare a loud blip and some of the crowd to cheer wildly, while the rest grumbled in defeat for betting against Carolyn. The speaker sounded, declaring Carolyn the winner in a robotic yet strangely excited tone. What? She won? Red curled into a ball, holding her stomach as Angela ran to her. Crouching down like a mother to her child, Carolyn, however, turned back and ran to me with a happy grin.
I did it! I did it!
You did it! And instantly she leapt into my arms, hugging me tightly. I caught her and spun her around happily. She did it!
You did it!
We held on to each other for a bit before I let her go, lowering her to the ground gently. We both smiled widely at each other in pride.
Red, are you okay?
Yeah, ma'am.
Carolyn and I looked over to see Red gripping her stomach tightly, with Angela purely concerned, hovering over her maid. Red was coughing and I could tell that a rib or two was broken from Carolyn's kick. As much as I wanted to feel bad, she kind of deserved it. Carolyn and I walked towards our ex-opponents, causing Angela to look up at me. She didn't glare, however. She had a look mixed with concern for her maid and defeat of the situation.
I guess you do belong with us. You've trained your maid well.
Thank you.
I didn't train her. She trained all on her own. She wanted to fight to stay with me.
Red looked up weakly at Carolyn, growling. However, her face couldn't lie. She was defeated and she knew it.
I guess I underestimated you. That's one hard-ass kick.
Oh yeah.
It's fine. However, now you know who's the true top maid, right?
I expected Red to spit at her or get back up for round 2. However, Red simply smirked.
Whatever. I'll change that someday. I swear on it.
I stared, madly surprised at the situation. I thought Red was evil. I thought she wanted to humiliate Carolyn. Carolyn smirked before crouching down and holding her hand out to Red, who took it weakly and shook it.
For now, you can be top maid. Keep the title warm for me for when I come back and take it.
I'll wait until you try.
I looked at Carolyn and smiled. She was really kind even to her opponents. Still, she worked hard to stay with me and I was happy that she could. Carolyn was with me to stay. When we went home, I couldn't help but let out a relieving sigh. Carolyn got to stay with me and I got to keep my title. Even more so, Carolyn was happy and I enjoyed seeing the joyful smile on her face the entire way home. As much as I didn't do exactly a lot, I still felt accomplished. As a representative for Carolyn, I was proud of her. She celebrated by making a large cake for dessert, and oh boy was it amazing. I was stuffed and went to bed a very happy and full person that night. However, I didn't stay in bed for long, as a knock appeared at my bedroom door.
Huh? Come in.
What was Carolyn up to? I thought she also went to bed. My face turned red as Carolyn walked into my room in just a towel. Her hair looked slightly wet, so you could tell that she had just come out of the shower. Why wasn't she in her uniform? Oh boy, I think I know where this is going. Carolyn blushed as she closed the door and gripped the towel around her.
Master? Can I tell you something?
Sure. Yeah, what is it?
Carolyn took a step towards the bed, causing me to stand from it and walk around in front of her. She kept her eyes down, but her face was as pink as a peach.
I want to thank you for directing me and helping me win.
What, now? In a towel?
Huh? Oh, no. You trained hard and stuff. You totally had it.
Yeah, you had it, man. You had it.
Still, without your instruction, I would have worked myself to exhaustion, and I probably couldn't have won. I owe you so much.
You don't owe me that much.
Hey, you don't owe me anything, okay? I wanted to help you, so I did, because I care for you.
Yeah, sure. That's why.
I care for you too. I mean, more so than I should.
Really? I stared as Carolyn looked up to me with a smile.
I know it's only been a week, but I've really grown to like you, Master. You're kind and you take care of me
No.
better than I could have imagined.
No.
It's
Stop.
almost as if I'm not a maid.
Oh? I felt my heart flutter. Was this a confession?
I understand if you don't like me back, but I think that I like you so much that I could grow to love you.
As Carolyn stared up at me, I felt my mind jumble like it did the first time I had saw her. She was so cute, and she was smiling up at me with a cute blushing face. It was true, I found her cute, but I never imagined that she would confess to me like this.
So, Master, can I make a request?
Oh god.
Sure.
Slowly, Carolyn raised her hands and wrapped them around my neck, giving me a shy look. My heart skipped at her request.
May I have a kiss?
Ooh. How could I say no? I gently wrapped my arms around her form and leaned in to kiss her, gently feeling her stretch up to brush her lips against mine. Her lips were soft and tasted like sweet vanilla. I can't say this stuff seriously. Her lips were soft and tasted like sweet vanilla, enticing me to press my lips against hers a little more to get more of her taste. I felt fireworks go off in my head as I kissed Carolyn. She gently tightened her hug around me, matching my deep kiss. I felt her love in that kiss, and I gave my love back to her in return. Carolyn gently walked around while holding me, causing us to turn to where her back was to my bed. With a tug, she caused me to fall forward on top of her. I broke from the kiss and landed with my arms on either side of her, not wanting to crush her. Oh wow. I stared down at Carolyn with a blush, and she smiled and held her arms. She invited me... I stared down at Carolyn with a blush as she smiled and held her arms to me, inviting me back into her embrace. It looks like her arms are that small. Like, so weird.
I'm so happy, Master. I love you.
I love you too, Carolyn. And then at that moment, I didn't see my maid. I saw a woman that I cared for and liked, maybe even loved. She wanted to stay beside me and fought so hard to do so. I felt incredibly unworthy, but I didn't let that feeling shake me. I lowered myself down and kissed her, feeling her wrap her arms around me. She did indeed show me her love and happiness. I showed her mine in return. Who knew that a maid and a soldier could like someone like me? I was incredibly lucky. She was perfect. This house was perfect. My life had become perfect. score. Best end! Made with perfection. Yes! Okay, guys, there we go. Oh, it's such a good game. Like, I'm so glad that I got the good ending after getting that ridiculous, the messy ending, only because I didn't get it to clean up as much as I should. But we got there in the end, and I'm so happy that we did. But this has been Made with Perfection, and this game's on itch.io, so I will leave the link in the description as usual. Go and play it, check it out. Get your own gameplay on this. Like, you know, this is like for all you YouTubers out there, or, you know, YouTubers, whatever you want to call yourselves. You know, do this game. This is a really great game, and the voice acting is perfect. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.